All right. Well, once again, I want to thank everyone for being on the line and for your participation in these weekly calls. I just wanted to remind you all that we do have also our Friday calls still going on, as well as these training calls every Wednesday evening. Now, this particular training call, you want to make sure and have your screen share on because let's just say there's going to be a lot of detailed information in these slides, and I want to make sure that everyone has a great opportunity and understanding of what we're talking about. So this is one that you're going to want to take notes on. You're going to want to have your screen share on, and just be ready because there's going to be a lot of great information. So what we're going to start out with, guys, the first thing is we're going to start out with exactly what it is about transfer factor that you need to express to people, because what you're going to find is that people are going to have oppositions to transfer factor and oppositions to what you're doing. Now, this is going to be true not just for transfer factors, for any company or any product you have. There's going to be people that automatically, the minute you start trying to tell them about it, are going to feel as though you're just trying to solicit them into something that they don't need or they don't want. And so you've got to be understanding of that, but at the same time, you take that opportunity to share with them. So let's get started. So the title of this particular excuse me, this particular PowerPoint training is Transfer Factors, Health You Never Knew That You Needed. Okay, so let's get started in our first slide. One of the things that you're going to hear people say, and it's one of the most common responses people have, especially when you're marketing any kind of nutritional product, is, hey, I'm a healthy person. I don't need transfer factors, or I don't need whatever your product may be. Okay, this is one of the most common responses of someone who is afraid you're soliciting them with something they believe that they don't need. However, it's also an opportunity for you to educate them on what transfer factors really are. But before you educate them on transfer factors, it's important to understand the way health conditions develop. Okay, this is something a lot of people don't understand. But most severe health conditions require years to develop, such as diabetes, cancers, Alzheimer's, and more than 100 autoimmune conditions. There are scientists that actually believe that Alzheimer's disease could begin 20 years before any of the signs of it occur. Diabetes requires years of eating wrong carbohydrates before symptoms show up. Now, once symptoms develop, a great deal of damage has already occurred. People need to understand this because people have a way of thinking that, oh, it's not going to happen to me. I'm the exception, or, oh, I'm good so far, so I don't need that. Okay? People they have a tendency not to think preventatively, but to only think of things in the manner of what's happening with them presently. Okay? Now, let's take a look at some health statistics, that prove this, that people do need to be more aware of. About 610,000 people die of heart disease in the United States every year. That's 1 in every 4 deaths that occur is from heart disease. 6 in 10 people in the USA have chronic diseases, and 4 in 10 have at least 2 or more. 5 million people in the U.S. are living with Alzheimer's disease. 54.4 million people in the U.S. have been diagnosed with arthritis. Many more live with arthritis that hasn't been confirmed by a doctor. They just have the pain and the symptoms. They have arthritis, but they have not gone to a doctor about it. 30.3 million people in the U.S. have diabetes. Many more, again, don't know they have it. And there are also a lot of people that are considered pre-diabetic. In other words, they have all of the symptoms, all the signs. They're headed down that road if they don't change something in their diet or in their health situation, but they don't know it yet because they haven't had the full-on symptoms of it. And so they haven't seen a doctor about it. They don't realize they have diabetes. 84 million people in the U.S. have prediabetes. Okay, here's what I was just talking about, which means they'll develop diabetes if they do not change their diets or do something to head it off. So 30.3 million have diabetes, and over 84 million have prediabetes. In 2018, 1,735,350 new cases of cancer were diagnosed in the United States, and 609,640 people died from the disease. Approximately 50 million Americans, which is 20% of the population, or 1 in 5, suffer from autoimmune disease. Now, autoimmune disease, we're talking about things like Crohn's disease, lupus, allergies is a very common common autoimmune disease. You also have diabetes type 1, I believe, or type 2, is actually autoimmune. Okay, so these are conditions that affect people every day. Fibromyalgia is another huge one. Those are all things that affect Americans, 1 in 5. And it's autoimmune, which means the immune system is misunderstanding what's going on, and it's causing the problem to be even more greatly expressed in your system. Now, worldwide, back pain is the single leading cause of disability, preventing many people from engaging in work as well as other everyday activities. 31 million Americans experience lower back pain at any given time. So everyone believes it won't happen to them until it does. The majority of individuals do not think developing a serious illness will happen to them. Another category of individuals is not concerned about it. They feel they'll deal with the illness at the best they can if it happens. So you have two different mindsets. You have people that think, oh, I'm the exception. It won't ever happen to me. Then you have the other people say, well, it's likely going to happen at some point in my life, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'll deal with it when it happens. Let me just live my life the way I want to live it. I've never met anyone that didn't wish they had done things differently once they were very sick or dying. Are you in either of these categories? Think about that. Does this affect you? Is this the way you're looking at it? Are you one of these two individuals? Don't be a statistic. Okay? You have the answer to the best health of your life with this company. See, you will most likely experience health problems in your lifetime. Most everyone does at some point. However, you can do something about it by reducing your risk of developing a serious illness or reducing the severity of an illness that may develop. Keeping in peak health reduces your chances of developing a serious illness. Of course, your lifestyle is a major determinant in what happens. Smoking, overuse of alcohol, eating too many unhealthy foods, not getting exercise, those are major causations of diseases and health conditions. But keeping your immune system, your antioxidant system, and detoxifying systems functioning at peak efficiency is important. Even if you do things against your health, the things you do right will lessen the negative effects on your health. For example, eating junk food hurts your health by increasing the cytokine TNF-alpha, which causes inflammation. Inflammation can lead to cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes. But Renuvo reduces TNF-alpha by 64%. There are also other cytokines that can cause inflammation. But transfer factor products positively influence many of these body functions. 4Life products target several different body functions, but 4Life adds a number of nutrients to their formulas to increase the range of influence on body functions and organs. For example, we just mentioned TF Recall. Well, TF Recall contains ingredients like phosphatidylserine. Phosphatidylserine is a fatty substance produced in the body that covers and protects nerve cells, especially within the brain, and helps transmit messages between them. As an essential component of cell membranes, phosphatidylserine is thought to have a key role in keeping your memory sharp as you get older. TF Recall also contains vinpocetine, and vinpocetine has effects on brain blood vessels, brain blood flow, and brain cells themselves. Younger people in school consume TF Recall in order to focus better. Older people consume it for memory and sharpness. Another example of how 4Life uses several different things besides just our proprietary transfer factor to influence the way that our products affect the body is TF Cardio contains ginger, which addresses inflammation. It has hawthorn and garlic. There are many studies on cholesterol and blood pressure with those two nutrients. And TF Cardio contains CoQ10, which is used in the mitochondria. And the mitochondria actually produce energy for your cells. So these are different ways that 4Life targets our products to specific systems. You hear about the targeted transfer factor products. Well, it's not only that the transfer factors in those products have been targeted to specific systems or specific in this case, like the TF recall for the mind, specific brain and body function, but they've also added other nutrients that studies have shown have been successful in influencing those body functions as well. So they couple those with the transfer factor, and now you've got a winning combination. Transfer factor, this is another reason we do this. Transfer factor even makes other nutrients work better. It's called synergy, and transfer factor does it better than anything on the market. We have found that when you consume transfer factor with other nutrients, it helps those nutrients perform better at the cellular level. We have a study that shows when transfer factors are consumed with vitamin C, the vitamin C is more than 500% more effective at the cellular level than without transfer factor. So synergism within our product is something very important. It's why the Pro-TF works so much better than other proteins, even though it has less protein per gram than other proteins out there. Okay, I take Pro-TF daily, and I can tell you that the over-the-counter proteins have a lot more protein in them than transfer factor or Pro-TF, but the Pro-TF has things and does things in your system that normal proteins cannot. And I've noticed a major difference by using the Pro-TF on a daily basis in how it affects my overall my body overall, the lean muscle mass, the ability to burn fat, visceral fat, the fact that what cardio and things that I do, what dieting I do seems to work better and easier. These are all things that are great effects of what something like transfer factor being added to a protein can do, even though, again, it has less protein per gram, but it utilizes more of your body when you're taking it and actually gives you better responses. So how do transfer factors affect our health? Now, this is where things are going to get really detailed. Okay, the effects of transfer factors on the immune system and body function is dose dependent. Okay, what does that mean? All right, well, let's take a look at this. What this means is that the effectiveness of transfer factors depends on the amount of transfer factor involved. This is why transfer factors in colostrum will not create the results that many studies have found. You see, colostrum has to be pasteurized because it's considered a form of dairy or form of milk. Okay, any type of dairy in any form that comes to the market has to be pasteurized. Okay, transfer factor molecules, very, very few of them survive that pasteurization process. Now, some of them do, but very few of them. Okay, especially when you compare them to the way our process is done, and the transfer factors are all active. Okay, so you would have to take quite a bit more colostrum to get the same amount of transfer factor. But this is why you can take a full dose of colostrum, and it's not as effective because there's not as many transfer factors involved. The transfer factor's effectiveness depends on the amount of them that are in your system. So transfer factors have a wide range of impact on your health. We have read more than 1,000 abstracts of studies on transfer factors. These studies performed on transfer factors over several decades found that transfer factors affect the following immune system and body functions. Here's where things get interesting. The list of effects TF has on our system. Now, we're going to get into a lot of very heavy information right now. So if you don't have screen share on, I'm going to give you just a second to get it on because you're going to want to read along as we go through these. We have several pages of just information on the way that transfer factor affects our system. So we're going to get started into this at the very beginning with some of the modulating effects of transfer factor. So hopefully you've got your screen share on now and you're ready to roll and you can follow along. So here we go. First off, it helps to modulate interleukins 1 and 6. Now, these cytokines cause inflammation. Some inflammation is good, so tissue can heal without infections. But due to the lifestyles, toxins, and stress that humans are exposed to, inflammation becomes a very serious challenge that leads to many different diseases. Transfer factors can downregulate or suppress both of these cytokines. If the level of inflammation is healthy, transfer factors will maintain that level. Now, I want you to understand what that means right there. Okay, we're saying it can modulate interleukins. What that means is that transfer factor is a smart molecule. It knows when a cytokine needs to be suppressed, when allowing it to be so active can cause more of a problem. And when it sees that, it will suppress or downregulate those cytokines. Now, if the inflammation is healthy, then the transfer factors allows them to do what they're doing and maintain a healthy level. So that's what we mean by modulate. It has the ability to increase or suppress according to what the body needs. The next one, it modulates interleukin 10. Okay, interleukin 10 is involved in healing and also modulates nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes the inner muscles of your blood vessels, causing the vessels to widen. In this way, nitric oxide increases blood flow and lowers blood pressure. Okay, too much nitric oxide can lead to septic shock. Although interleukin 10 can downregulate COX-2, which is involved in many different health concerns, IL-10 is involved with counteracting the hyperactive immune system response in the human body. So again, it can modulate this according to what is needed, okay, because it can downregulate COX-2, which is involved in many different health concerns, but it's involved in counteracting the hyperactive immune system in the body. That's what we're talking about when we say autoimmune condition, is where the immune system is misunderstanding what's going on, and it's actually in a attempt to cause a problem to. Sorry, let me start over. In an attempt to solve a problem, it creates a much larger problem. Okay, that's essentially what's happening. Is that by not allowing or suppressing something that's going crazy in your system, that thing that's going crazy can actually cause more damage. Okay. Now, the next thing is it modulates histamine. Histamine is involved in response to allergic reactions like burning eyes and itching and things. That's what histamine does. It helps to try to eradicate and get rid of those allergens by making your eyes water, by giving you a runny nose, making you itchy and burning eyes. That's histamine. But histamine can actually go overboard and cause a problem. That's why over the counter you hear people saying, well, it's a great antihistamine, meaning that it suppresses it, okay? But transfer factor naturally has the ability, this smart molecule has the ability to manipulate and modulate histamine simply by keeping it in your system. It improves CD4 and CD8. Now, experts have said you can measure the effectiveness of an immune system through levels of CD4 and CD8. It actually increases both of those, but therefore increasing the effectiveness of your immune system. It modulates TNF-alpha. We spoke about this one a little bit earlier. TNF-alpha is a cytokine that's involved in inflammation and can lead to many autoimmune conditions and other diseases. Transfer factors can downregulate TNF-alpha or modulate it if needed. Aberrant TNF-alpha production and TNF receptor signaling have been associated with the pathogenesis of several diseases, including rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, atherosclerosis, psoriasis, sepsis, diabetes, and obesity. So TNF-alpha is very key in all of these things, and modulating it up or down can help with these particular diseases and the pathogenesis of these diseases. Now we're on to natural killer cells. Transfer factors can increase the effectiveness of natural killer cells by 400% even after the thymus gland has stopped educating T cells. Natural killer cells are the immune system's first line of defense against mutated cells. It also affects B cells, and B cells produce antibodies that store information about pathogens. Transfer factors program B cells with information on pathogens and help them produce antibodies. In one study, 4-Life's transfer factor increased antibodies in the mouth and eyes by 73%. So again, just something that no other product out there is doing. It inhibits NF-kappa beta, which is involved in a certain kind of inflammation that leads to many health conditions. It increases CAMP or CAMP. And CAMP is involved in the synthesis of protein at the cellular level. This is one of the things involved, with muscle growth and lean muscle mass, is the CAMP, because it's involved in the way your body synthesizes protein. And we know that when you're tearing down the muscles by doing resistance training or weight training of any kind, that repairing those proteins is where you start to gain strength and size. So CAMP is involved in all of this, and transfer factor increases that at the cellular level. Now, Th1 and Th2 cells are influenced by transfer factors, and those cells produce interleukin-2, which we spoke about earlier. It also influences the production of SOD and glutathione. Transfer factors increase the body's natural production of antioxidants. This is better than consuming antioxidants, because antioxidants produced by the body have the wisdom not to interfere with the oxidation involved in turning food into energy. Also, the immune system uses free radicals to kill certain germs. These antioxidants leave positive oxidation alone and only deal with oxidation as dangerous to the body and cause premature aging, along with initiating diseases. So by influencing the production of these antioxidants and glutathione, then the body's own antioxidants have the wisdom to know when they should be involved and when they shouldn't be involved with a particular oxidation. Whereas if you take antioxidants from the store, or take antioxidant supplements, those are just general antioxidants, and many times they can interfere with things that they shouldn't be messing with. But when you create within your body the ability to create more antioxidants and to understand the oxidation process and leave positive oxidation alone and only deal with oxidation as dangerous, then these are things that you want to do, and that's what transfer factor does. It influences the production of these things as well as glutathione. It increases detoxifying agents. So transfer factors increase detoxifying agents such as glutathione S-transferase, which naturally detoxifies every cell in your body. It modulates interferon. Transfer factors can increase interferon or modulate it if needed. Interferon is what doctors use to treat hepatitis C. Russian doctors found that 4-Life transfer factors increase interferon as much as injections of interferon. So even without having to take an injection, the Russian doctors found that the transfer factors increase it at the same level as someone taking an injection. That's pretty impressive. Now, let's take a look at India as an example in bringing you into all of these different things. Excuse me, my mouth is a little dry. I had to take a drink of water. Okay, India has 1.4 billion people. So I'm adding its statistics, all right? More than 72 million people in India have diabetes. More than 2.1 million individuals in India died in 2015 from heart-related conditions. Approximately 39.6% of all Indians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. Infection is a major challenge in India. The life expectancy is only 67.8 years old for men and 70.2 for women. This is tragic for loved ones and the individuals suffering. Now, we can make a dent in these statistics with transfer factors and 4-Life products. My suggestion is don't fall into the category of individuals that think it will never happen to me, because most likely it will. But everyone should be on TF Plus unless they have an autoimmune condition. Then try factor instead of the plus. I suggest TF Cardio to care for your heart, Glucoach to care for your blood sugar levels, and keep in mind that if your blood glucose levels go above 140, even if you don't have diabetes, now listen to this, even if you don't have diabetes but those glucose levels peak at 140 or above, you're experiencing damage from glycation every time that happens. Now, glycation is when two cells or molecules fuse themselves together. They become non-functional. And glycation affects the heart, brain, eyes, all organs, and any tissue throughout the body. This is one reason older people get stiff and have aches and pains. At 71, now this was actually Mike quoting this, at 71, he doesn't have any stiffness nor aches because he's watched his glucose levels for many, many years. So another thing is to understand that there's no competition. All of this information I've given you, this is no competition. There's nothing else out there doing what transfer factor does, and you have the ability to take this to people who've never heard of it, to introduce them to something they've never heard of before. There's no competition. Transfer factor is completely unique. Now, here's a statement from Professional Networkers founder Mike Akins. We are fortunate not to have competition with our transfer factor products within network marketing. In my 50-plus years, I've never experienced no competition with the products I promoted. There are reasons why that I will cover later in the next newsletter. Now, he's got a newsletter this particular quote was taken from. Now, networkers may believe we have competition in other products if they do not understand the broader range of benefits of transfer factors. You simply need to learn more about transfer factors and how to market it in your particular culture. Of course, be blessed, Mike. Now, and obviously the disclaimer at the bottom there. Our products are not promoted to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. The FDA hasn't evaluated the above statements. Now, that being said, this entire presentation has been showing you how unique and how different our product is, how effective our product is, and how to share with people what it is so that they have an understanding, that they can grasp the weight of what it is that we're marketing, so they can understand the tremendous opportunity this would be for them to be involved with a company like this, to understand that this is a product that they need to put into their lives. It will help them overall with health that they've never seen before. So my final thoughts are this. We live in a day and age where people are becoming more aware of their health, whether the reasons be longevity or vanity. Exercise classes, gym memberships, home gym equipment sales, diet fads, weird diets, and extreme body conditioning are all on the rise in search of the fountain of youth and the ability to look younger and, more importantly, feel younger and healthier in order to enjoy a higher quality of life. Now, we're in a very fortunate position by being part of 4Life with a product as effective and unique as transfer factor. We have the keys to a long, healthy life with the most effective product for the immune system you will find anywhere. This truly is the health you never knew that you needed. So that will conclude the training for today. And I wanted to thank everyone for being on the line today and for being on the call. I know there's been some network issues. I've seen several people come on, drop off, which typically means they're in a spot where the connectivity is not the greatest. But I wanted to let everyone know that we appreciate you guys using these systems, using these tools. Again, this one, there was a lot of detailed information because transfer factor is something that is unlike anything else out there. So people need to have a better understanding of what it is and need to understand more of the benefits. So I know you won't be able to remember all this. I know that even if you get the PowerPoint, some of this, is going to get lost in you as you get into marketing it to people. Some of this stuff you'll reread it and think, wait a second, it made sense before, it doesn't make sense now. And that's normal because it is something new. It is a kind of a different mindset. But the key thing to remember is that transfer factor is doing tremendous things in the industry, tremendous things for people's health. Never seen any other nutritional product do. That's what is the key to this right here. But you need to help people understand that they do need this product. You need to help people understand that this product can change their lives. It can actually help their health in ways nothing else can. These things that I mentioned to you today, the information I've given you, the some of the preface we talked about, about the different oppositions people will have and what people will say and try to, inject on you when you begin to share the information with them. These are all things to keep in mind. These are all things that you need to learn. Not every word of it, you don't need to be able to repeat this word for word, but learn the gist of what we're talking about so you can communicate that to people when you face those oppositions. When people ask you, why do I need this product? Why are you bothering me? What is it about this? I'm healthy. I don't need it, blah, blah. That's why we entered this thing from the very beginning. The first few slides, we're just talking about how people are going to object and some of the ways that you can then turn around and dismiss those objections or give them the information that they can understand and see why this is so unique and why this is something that everyone should be using. So that being said, I want to thank everyone. and for being on the line, and remind you that we will have another one next Wednesday as well. We will have our Friday morning opportunity call as always, so feel free and bring your new prospects, bring your new leaders, bring anyone on that you think could benefit from the information. And remember that these calls, it's also there so that you as a distributor can become more familiar with how to present the opportunity. It's not just about bringing prospects. It's also about bringing your leaders and current distributors on so that they can feel more confident with the information as they talk to people. So that being said, I want to thank everyone for being on the line.